Subject of the teaching today is a commentary on Heart Sutra. Heart Sutra is the essence of Prajnaparamita Sutra. The reason why it is called heart, because it's the essence, or also it's like a physical heart of human body. It's one of the most important organ of the human body, like that. This is one of the most important teaching. It starts like the word in English, thus have I heard. And after Buddha entered Nirvana, his disciples, great disciples like Mahakashyapa, Mahakashyapa, Shariputra, Subhuti, Ananda, and so forth, gather together and with thousands of other monks and practitioners, and had a great council, and then they decided to record the teachings. So one of the great disciples, like Shariputra, said, "Thus I have heard." So they recorded the teachings in their mind, in their deep, profound samadhi, unforgetting samadhi. So then they start talking and then wrote down on palm leaves. This is how it started. So the Heart Sutra was taught at Vulture's Peak mountain in Rajgir, in the center of India, Magadha kingdom. And there is a mountain, and these rocks have a shape like vultures, like a gathering. That's why we call the Vulture's Peak mountain. There's another story that is when before or during Buddha's, during the teaching, many enlightened ones and yogis and arahats who could fly like a bird, and they gathered and came, and they flew like a bird, like a vultures, and this is that's why it's called Vulture's Peak Mountain, and so many of them gathered like flocks of birds, and so there's a different ways of interpreting the word Vulture's Peak Mountain, and so many bodhisattvas gathered and Sangha gathered, and at that time Buddha himself entered into deep, profound samadhi. It's called the profound illumination, and Tibetan word is Samonhangwa, Shichavi Tinginzi, entering the profound samadhi. The Heart Sutra, sutra is actually not spoken word of the Buddha, and this sutra is endorsed by the Buddha and approved by the Buddha and blessed by the Buddha himself. And what happened here is that Buddha himself entered into this deep samadhi. Then Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara and Shariputra were sitting close to the Buddha, perhaps on each side of the Buddha, and then there were so many listeners and bodhisattvas and arahats, shravakas and pachekas and so forth. And at that time, Avalokiteshvara himself was also looking at the deep meaning, true meaning of Prajnaparamita. And then Shariputra made a request to Avalokiteshvara, and Avalokiteshvara start teaching. He's begun teaching. Avalokiteshvara said 5 skandhas. The nature of the 5 skandhas are empty of true existence, or empty of inherent existence. And by the blessing of the Buddha, Shariputra got encouragement and energy to ask questions to Avalokiteshvara. And he asked question. He asked question on perfection of wisdom. And that time, then Avalokiteshvara said to Shariputra, those who wish to listen, who wish to practice and meditate on prajna paramita, and those sons or daughters or anyone who wish to listen and meditate and practice prajna paramita, and then they should look deeply and concentrate and trying to understand meaning of prajna paramita. And prajna paramita means perfection of wisdom or transcendental wisdom. And Tibetan word is Shirapji Parudu Chimba. And so then Avalokiteshvara said the 5 skandhas are empty of inherent existence. The nature of 5 skandhas are empty of inherent existence. Form is emptiness, and emptiness is also form. Likewise, feeling is emptiness, and emptiness is also feeling. Likewise, perception is emptiness, emptiness is also perception. And likewise, mental formation is emptiness, emptiness is also mental formation. Likewise, consciousness is emptiness, emptiness is also consciousness. So, all 5 skandhas are emptiness, or empty of inherent existence. So, what it means that each of 5 skandhas, they do not exist inherently and or independently. So when we talk about form is emptiness, we're not talking about the form doesn't exist. There is no form, and we're not negating the form or refuting the form. How could you do that? Not possible, and not necessary. And form is emptiness means the true meaning, deep meaning of on ultimate level. The form doesn't exist all by itself and independently. And so when you meditate, if you look at the body if you do analytical meditation and look at from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, go slowly, do what we call sweeping meditation. It's like you are sweeping the floor with broom from one end of the room to the other end of the room, and that's sweeping, right? Sweeping the floor. Like that, we can do sweeping meditation of the body. Our modern term today's term of technology, you could say scanning the body. So you can do that, and you look through the body, outside the body, and the body outside this body or inside the body doesn't exist independently. Inherently, this body is high maintenance, as we all know. You have to eat food, you have to drink water, you need to sleep, you have to do exercise, and you need walk, go for a walk, drink lots of water, and so on and so forth. And then you try to do some practice meditation, mindfulness, calm abiding meditation, do mantras and so forth to release your stress and tension, mental health and happiness and so forth. This body is high maintenance. So this body needs a lot of things, and this body is dependent on so many things. And ever since the body is started, when the body was very small and inside mother's womb, and as you grow as a baby, and then you have more maintenance, and as you get bigger and bigger, more food and more consumptions require so many things. So this body is interdependent, and what we call dependent arising. But at the same time, this body is empty of inherent existence. So the emptiness and dependent arising, they are coexist. And like one side of the door is entrance, the other side of the door is exit. And so it's one door. Without entrance there is no exit, without exit there is no entrance. Likewise, dependent arising, emptiness are one. For example, when we say dependent arising, naturally means there is no independent, right? Nothing is independent exists. So that's the same as when you say emptiness, emptiness of inherent existing or independently existing. So this body doesn't exist independently, cannot live, support and sustain independent. And so therefore we are saying here form is emptiness. The Buddha said form is emptiness. And when you look at the form, you don't find independent existence. Any part of form or any kind of form. Therefore, the form is emptiness. The emptiness of the form is form because the emptiness of form is based. The emptiness of the form is based on form. Without the form, there is no emptiness of form. So, emptiness of form is based on form. For that reason, we say the form and is emptiness. Emptiness is also form. The emptiness of form is form. So this is how we have to understand. Dependent arising, emptiness are coexistence. This is what Lama Tsongkhapa advised or said in his commentaries. And one should not separate dependent arising and emptiness. As long as you are separating, totally separating dependent arising and emptiness, then you don't understand emptiness. And because there are one. And this is the middle way, what we call madhyamika. So form is emptiness. Now, so why do we meditate on emptiness of form? And why do we have to trying to understand emptiness of form? Because this body, as I said, has lots of many parts and high maintenance, right? So also we have attachment to this body, and we have aversion to this body. We have some form of aggression towards this body or somebody else body, and lots of mental defilements, ignorance, attachment, and anger, and so on and so on. Lots of mental defilements arising, and due to this body, and for example, craving for food and drink and this and that, alcohol, cigarette, drugs, all these, you craving because your body says, I want this, I need this. And not just body but mind too, because all associated, all five skandhas go together. So, this is why we meditate on emptiness of form, Zuktung Baho. So when you meditate on form, emptiness of form, then you begin to see this, the nature of this body is emptiness, right? And Shunyata, and doesn't have inherently good or bad, and this and that. And the meditation on emptiness of the form is opponent power and is antidote for defilements and attachment and craving, desire, and so forth that has to do with this body and arising from this body and coming and going and so forth. For example, we have neurosis, we have attachment, and because of this body, oh, I'm not beautiful anymore, I'm getting old, my body is changing, I look awful, and this is a fear, right? This is fear, and also sorrow and sadness, and all this is happening because of the body and this form and craving on this form. This is why if we meditate on emptiness or form, it is very beneficial. We can overcome attachment, craving, and fear, and anxiety, and so on and so forth. This is why we meditate on emptiness of form first. And then the next, second skandha is the feeling. The Buddha said feeling is emptiness, emptiness is also feeling. So now, similarly, we have, we are, as a human beings, living beings, we have a feeling. We have usually three kinds of feelings. Happy feeling, unhappy feeling, and neutral feelings. So the feelings go up and down and change. One day you're happy, next day you're unhappy, and then this week you're happy, next week you're unhappy, or sometimes feeling change within a day or within hours, and and then sometimes you neither feel happy or nor feel sad, and you feel a kind of neutral feeling, or perhaps a dull feeling, and gray kind of feeling, and also slowly kind of a depressing feeling, and that's what people get, depressions, and then very difficult. And once you're into going into depression, it can be very difficult, and then you have to take drugs and so forth, then side effects and so forth. So there's different kinds of feelings, and the feelings are also cause of defilements, and some feelings are also cause of grasping and excitement, whatever, and unbalance. Up goes up too fast or goes down too fast, whatever. No equilibrium mind, no equanimity. So that's why we meditate on feeling first. See what is feeling. Okay. And then how does the feeling exist? And does the feeling exist independently, permanently, or not. And you meditate on dukkha, the unhappy feeling, and then meditate on anicca, the impermanence of feeling, and feeling changes. So when you meditate on impermanence of feeling, then you feel, well, it's not a big deal. My feelings are changed. Right now I feel a bit sad and low, but I'll be okay. Tonight or tomorrow I will be fine, especially if I meditate, practice anapanasati, mindfulness of breathing, or if I meditate on the DT yoga and do practice of Manjushri, Chenrezig, and so forth, I will feel better.